So that's when they, take you to Atlantis or Urlantia, which are two of the underground cities. Urlantia also is another name for Atlantis. With everything, you have mirrored cities, so the names can be interchangeable at the same time. You learn through route memory what they commonly use. So they kind of do it that way so that if anybody, breaks loose or breaks out, there's a lot of confusion and, you don't, like if you're trying to locate something, you can't. They don't want you to be able to find it on your own. So, that's the hard part is everything into these cities, every entrance, every exit, there's always multiple. Every as a child, you'll always be taken there different ways. So, it could be through a spiritual gate. The next time it could be through a submarine. The next time it could be through the air. They're going to drop you down in there. So they'll do it different routes so that at first you're thinking you're maybe in lots of different places. But they're just trying to, create that confusion as they're doing the training, unless, you're chosen specifically to be stationed there, and that then becomes your specialty training. That's when they're going to, reveal more and more to you about those places, and you'll learn that there's multiple ways to get in and get out. Where, next thing you're in the bathtub, and you've got this creature that is a spiritual being, like, coming up through your drain or through the water, and you're like, no, I did not just see something in this bath water. And then you're like, oh no, I saw something in the bath water. And you're getting out and you're like, okay, I don't want to take a bath now. So they cause a lot of fear. A lot of times that's with sound too, because you learn, you're learning both your physical and your spiritual senses. So, like for me with the water training, there was a lot of like all of a sudden abrupt, very loud sounds. And sometimes it would be rushing water. They would, certain parts, they would all of a sudden you'd be like in that ocean water, and all of a sudden there would be this flood coming through, this mass amount of water, and you just have to get higher and higher and higher, and the water doesn't stop. So you're looking for, okay, there's a top on this building. How high is this water gonna go? And where can I, like, how do I get out? Like you realize if you go up, which is the direction the water's going, you're going to run out of oxygen because there's no exit there. And that by the time that water gets up to the top, it's too much water, for you to hold your breath or anything. So you have to learn to like navigate all that. And then, as you get more and more skilled, you learn to operate the gates, the spiritual gates and the portals. You learn that that's your way in, your way out, which is what they want you to do. They want you to know where those spiritual gates are and to be able to access those whenever you need them. So that's part of the training, but they're not going to tell you.
Grown military guys, let's say guys that have joined the military after school, maybe they've been spotted by the spotters, as we call them, to be pretty good at certain skills. They would then maybe get offered opportunities or whatever in the military. Would they also, even though they might not have any childhood training in the system, would they also then, if they have the correct gifts, I would imagine, obviously not just any dude that's going to the army,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm talking about if they've been spotted and have particular skills, would they go through similar training as well to get them into these weird and wonderful places?
Some, um, I think it just depends on what their skills are. Some they do other scenarios. So, I think this is where some of the pirate stories and, you know, uh, those who have been on the Navy ships and the submarines, with them, they might not necessarily, you know, I guess my belief is that they do go through the base training. They may not experience all the aspects of it, that, a child being trained in that environment might. Um, but, what I witnessed was that then, like, as I went through the different, like, the upgrades, like, you start off at the one and then they upgrade you to the next. So the next upgrade then is Neverland for water training. So at that base, then you get more of it's off the Pacific Ocean. So then you get more of um, the, what would you call it? The island training. You get more of, the introduction to mermaids and other things like that. Um, so with that, the training is different. And I don't know how to go into that further, but you know, again, you're going to have the different levels where you have to pass certain things before you get to be introduced to the next level. Whereas with a kid, there aren't necessarily all the challenges. Like if they want you to have that water training, you're just going to find yourself in those situations. So I think that, that's probably the biggest difference is that if you start out later in life, you know, it's almost like you have to seek it, you have to pass it, and the more you pass, the more is going to be revealed to you.
Wow. Absolutely crazy. Who are these people commanding these bases? Are they well known to us?
Yeah, U.S. generals.